Morning. I'm going to make a fairly short lecture about the legal issues in libraries. As I go through these slides, you're going to learn that quite a bit is in the book, and I'm also going to provide some links to sources that you will find very useful. As a result, let's get started, and then I will post this PowerPoint as a PowerPoint in itself so that you have access to the web pages that are there in this slide. First, what I'd like to do is talk about the law in the library. In that, laws change, and they change on a regular basis. What you will find is that many organizations, such as the Michigan Library Association or the American Library Association, lobby members of Congress to make them aware of library issues. In the state of Michigan, the Michigan Library Association is a very good lobbying organization, and like many of the library organizations, they keep you posted on issues in government that affect libraries. So pay attention to those websites. Get on a mailing list for something like the Michigan Library Association, and they will keep you on a regular basis posted of what's happening in government. The textbook has many of the basic laws of interest, but these organizations have additional information. Now, in basic issues in libraries that you know of from the government, one is SIPA, or the Children Internet Protection Act. It was passed by Bill Clinton's administration. Clinton attempted to pass several Internet Protection Acts. All of them pretty much failed, with the exception of SIPA, which did stand in place. And the state of Michigan has an additional aspect to SIPA. Now, like in many states, the federal government laws apply, but many times the state law adds to that. Another one that you might be interested in is the right of first sale. It's the right of first sale that makes a library able to borrow materials and make them available to others. It's considered one of the standard laws that went through the U.S. Supreme Court that protects libraries. There's also the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DMCA. And in many of these, I've already included the links so that you can get more information about those laws. Now, of course, there's copyright protection, and copyright protects the author and artist so that materials that they produce are protected for them. There are ways to handle copyright legally. For example, a professor can utilize a document in the class, and if there's little time to notify the owner of the copyright, they're able to provide some sort of information towards that document. Another aspect of the Copyright Protection Act is libraries, for example, can show movies, and if they show movies, they, like in my case, there's a couple companies that you subscribe to and you pay an annual fee to, and what that company does is provide funding to the individual copyright holders so that they get their share of anything that may be shown in the library. Another one would be notification on copying machines, noting the Copyright Protection Act, to try to prevent people. Well, the library can't monitor it that tightly. It's supposed to prevent a statement that says that someone can't copy an entire book. Now, there are issues when the copyright has passed where a library can, for example, copy an entire book to put back on the shelf because the book is no longer in print and the copyright has issues that allow certain things to be done. Now, of course, a major one that was around for many years and still talked about is the Patriot Act. And there's a link here for the Patriot Act. And then there's also one from the American Library Association on the Patriot Act. Take a look at those. Now, of course, there are specific situations, such as patron records, which are protected by librarians, but also protected by law. For example, in Michigan, with the Public Act 455 of 1982. I've got a link here, and then it shows that patron records are protected, which means that a library, for example, cannot use a patron record except for library purposes. A library that may be working on a millage, for example, cannot send messages out using the patron records because a patron record is for library use and not for any other use. And a millage cannot be done while on work. There are laws specific to states that address libraries. For example, there was a law that was passed in Michigan prohibiting the election 60 days before a vote, and that got changed. And then there were changes by the governor to what's referred to as personal property tax, or PPT. These are things that affect millages, or in the first case, or to property tax in the second case. Now, in Michigan, and I'm sure there are that in other libraries, Michigan has a library law handbook. Got a link here for it. In the library law handbook, the most current edition, the 2013 edition, was written by two people. Lance Werner, who is a lawyer librarian, but also the library director with Kent District Library, and Ann Cernak, who is an attorney who specializes in library law. Now, questions. I know of library law in Michigan, and I can give you various examples for various things, and I may talk about those during the discussion points. But pay attention to your own state. Find out who are the lobbying organizations that may be specific to your state. Who are the lawyers of library law in your state? The knowledge of these things is very, very useful. Thank you.